We're jumping right back in with my favourite Ratchet and Clank game. This is the 6th video in the No Vendors series, so we're qualified for this. Can you beat Ratchet and Clank 2 Going Commando without using vendors? All our returning viewers will know the rules, but for all our new watchers, we'll really quickly go over the rules to the challenge. As normal, we won't be able to buy any weapons. This results in us only being able to get 3 weapons total. Those weapons are the Lancer, Gravity Bomb, and Sheepinator. Out of all those weapons, the first 2 are the starting weapons, and the Sheepinator is a situational joke weapon. This does not bode well. On top of that, we can't buy ammo either. An exclusive system for Ratchet 2 is weapon mods. We get these from trading platinum bolts to Slim Cognito. For the purposes of this challenge, however, weapon mods are also banned. There are also ship upgrades that are bought through Slim as well, which we won't allow either. And finally, as normal, we cannot buy armor too. To summarise, we cannot buy weapons, we cannot buy ammo, we cannot buy weapon mods, we cannot buy ship upgrades, and we cannot buy armor. This has the potential to be one of the most difficult challenges yet. You don't want to miss the insane strategies we used to pull this one off. God damn, why do I keep doing this to myself? Ratchet and Clank, just Ratchet, has been tasked with tracking down the experiment. We need to fight our way through a flying lab. This is the very tutorial level, and it doesn't even have a vendor. So we go through this area as you normally would. Ratchet escapes the lab, and we follow where the thief was headed. For all intents and purposes, this is the true level 1. The key point of difficulty at the moment is simply getting ammo. Ammo crates may be littered everywhere, but without careful management, we will run out fast. We can't be wasting ammo, and we need to be min-maxing groups with the gravity bomb. We find this one insane guy and buy the tractor beam off of him. The tractor beam is a cool gadget which allows us to move certain objects. We then further explore the swamp, and we have a showdown with this swamp creature of some sort. I would say more about it, but he goes down before I can finish my lines. We get the dynamo, which creates holograms that we can interact with. This widget then tells us to go to Maktar, so we do. We need to use our new tractor beam to reach the satellite. This is a really cool concept. We get to run around a fully realised moon with its own gravity. We need to destroy 6 towers, and with that, the satellite is destroyed. Now we get to do some arena stuff, but first we need to get there, which is pretty easy. There's plenty of ammo littered around too. At this point, our 2 weapons have now reached the max level. The only other weapon we get is about halfway through the game, and even then it isn't very good. Unlike most arenas in this series, in this game it won't refill your ammo, so keep that in mind if you want to do extra challenges. Clank also seems to not be really having a good time, so we're gonna have to help him out too. We use our new electrolyzer gadget to get through the factory, using the crane to lift and to move boxes. We're here to rescue Clank, which goes quite smoothly. If by smoothly you mean we get trapped too.
Son of a quark!
We then get our first of 2 Clank levels, which goes as normal. The thug leader is here too, for some reason, so we decide to take care of him. This boss fight is so easy, it's not worth talking about. Ratchet enters his apartment and finds his old gadgets. I don't know who these guys are, and why they're on Clank's TV. I bet their games are weird, and that you couldn't possibly do challenges on those, right? Right? That's called foreshadowing. Barlow is pretty unremarkable, so let's do this quick. I say it's unremarkable, but we do find this one guy who's been in ice for a few years. Huh? He sells us the Terminator, which we will have to use very soon. The only potential enemy that'll give us any trouble on this level is the Rhino things. The enemies here will attack in groups, so we want to be using the gravity bomb a lot here. We find this one guy who is very afraid of confrontation.
Before I flatten your robot into a hubcap.
Touch him, and it's Plasma City!
Oh gosh, you didn't have to yell.
This is a very long level, so let's jump into it. We explore the city to find a nanotech boost, which will increase our max health by 1 for free. We can use our heavy lancer to take out these helicopters and exploding barrels from afar. Ratchet needs to then head inside a water pump station. To get through here, we will need to use the Terminator to freeze and unfreeze the water correctly. This is done about as normal as a usual playthrough. We track the thief to this cool snow level. The main segment of this level involves us fighting through a moving train 7 years before the iconic Uncharted sequence. Most of this level is generally no problem, we just need to keep on top of our ammo management, finding as many crates as we can. The actual battle against the thief is so one note that we beat him before my sentence is over. We meet Fizzwidget in the desert before he gives us some insurance fraud commentary.
Don't worry about it, little fella. It's insured.
Tabora is where we get a huge upgrade. Ratchet gets a new wrench and it deals significantly more damage, to the point where it deals more damage than our heavy lancer. Oops. We meet the thief again, who turns out to be Angela.
Oh no! Good thing that wasn't little Susie.
We then need to find some of the crystals in the desert. This is pretty easy. You only need 10 out of 100. You can collect more if you want, but all you get is more bolts, which are more or less worthless to us in this run. We find the glider, which is a fun gameplay segment. During it, we also get the nanotech boost too. Apologies for the intermission, but if you've been enjoying this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing to a friend who would enjoy this challenge too. It really does help boost the channel to more people and will allow me to continue doing these kinds of videos and challenges. If you really want to go above and beyond, you can also buy a channel membership with perks that include early access to these videos and voting on the next challenge I do. Anyway, back to the video. Joba is where normally we would buy new armor. This would increase our defense by 25%. Obviously, we aren't allowed to buy it in this run. There's a light stealth sequence here, which we do kind of want to do with minimal ammo usage. This is because we need to destroy a tank that is unreachable without the Lancer. The level coordinates won't load, so we call tech support, but they aren't very helpful. We follow them on the glider, but before that, we get the nanotech boost here just because. The photopet also appears to eat a lot of people, but Fizzwidget seems to only have time for the most important issues.
Low fat, extra foam, no sprinkles.
We then need to explore the rest of Dobo and find out there's a competition to join the Megacorp Games in Joba. To get this special invite, we need to defeat the thug leader as Giant Clank, which goes pretty normally for us. We reach Joba and do the optional races to get the charge boots. These will be needed later, so make sure you do not skip this. On top of that, we get the nanotech boost at the beginning of the level. Fighting these enemies normally isn't really an option. We don't have enough ammo to get us through these encounters. However, we can use the turrets that are littered around to defeat most of these enemies. We even run into the Rhino salesman from the first game, and he sells us the levitator. Now for the arena. These arena challenges are actually easier to do with the wrench, as it deals way more damage than our weapons. If you do get surrounded, feel free to use a gravity bomb. With all that effort, we get both the gravity boots and infiltrator. We are here to explore the Megacorp facility. This is also the level where we get our final weapon for the run, the Sheepinator. Most of these enemies start to get very difficult, so we will start using our tried and tested strategy of running away from everything. Most enemies are completely optional, and so if they are giving us a little too much trouble, running away is always a valid strategy. We end up finding the Sheepinator, as well as the biggest Captain Quark fanboy in existence. Now that we can turn enemies into sheep, we next visit the missile silos, where we find another nanotech boost. We also find out that Megacorp is going to be selling the Protopet as a friend to all of those who need one. Just look at how much Billy loves him. Bolton is a very heavy combat focused level, and we're going to really struggle here. The Sheepinator is next to useless against big enemies, so don't even bother with it. There are also way too many enemies to simply run past, which means we're going to have to do this properly. We want to min-max the gravity bomb on groups of enemies and finish them off with the Lancer. If we're only fighting one enemy, feel free to use the wrench to save on ammo. Every time we die, we will remain at the same ammo as of the time we died. To keep us from grinding ammo crates, we simply reload a save file. This only works when at the beginning of a level, as reloading will take you to the beginning of the current level. We want to be slower when walking down the sides of the buildings. One Lancer shot should get these guys to fall off. We find Robo Fizzwidget, but get cornered. Ratchet and Clank are captured. But luckily, the pink robot shows Clank a means of escaping.
Someone's got a girlfriend.
I will be right back.
Don't, stop for anything along the way.
In this level, we will be swapping between Clank and Ratchet gameplay. These enemies are insanely spongy. Even the wrench isn't dealing much damage anymore. Luckily, we will be on the walls for a lot of this level, and again, all it takes is one attack for the enemies to fall off the walls. Very convenient. Also convenient is that we get our final wrench upgrade here. We even find the plumber, who's here on overtime, and he sells us a Captain Quark statue. We buy it. We're not giving it to the fanboy though. It's mine. After a bit more of using the levitator, we get a call from Angela, who is truly someone with a high sneak stat.
Who's there?
Meow.
Aw. Wait a minute.
Sneevalak is where this challenge starts to get ridiculously insane. We get the last armor you would get before New Game Plus, which protects against 66 damage. Obviously, we cannot buy this armor, so how are we going to beat this onslaught of enemies? It may seem very scary, but simply running past everyone was the strategy that worked best for me. At the end, we do need to fight off a few of these enemies to open the final door to the boss, but the leftover enemies will all despawn when fighting the boss. The Thug Leader is taken out as normal, using all of the turrets. Now, the important thing is that we can't take many hits, so we need to prioritize taking out the homing mines. After about 20 minutes though, he does go down. Now we enter the final act of the game. We usually have 5 areas left to visit: Smolg, Grelbin, Democell, Grelbin again, and finally Yeedle. However, we do have a way of scraping 2.5 of those levels and getting a gadget off the list. But first, we need to explore the distribution center. We can take care of the little gremlins with the sheepinator, and can take care of the crabs with the lancer. We want to save our gravity bomb ammo for emergencies when we get surrounded. After a little bit of jumping on boxes, we get the coordinates for Grelbin. Funnily enough, we can actually just jump on this circle thing, and it'll just take us right back to the ship, rather than needing to finish the level fully. Pretty cool, huh? Now, normally for this level, we need to collect a bunch of crystals. If you thought the Yeti were difficult normally, try fighting them with no armor and a sheepinator. To the skip. Charge boot away from the Yeti and high jump onto this hill. The timing is near frame perfect, but you can get a second high jump off. And welcome to the end of the level. This tech skips all of Grelbin, Damosel, and getting the Hypnomatic. We also finally level up the Sheepinator. The sheep will now explode. It's actually a weapon now. Now, we do need to do one final skip because we need to use the Hypnomatic one final time. This is a complicated strat, but stay with me. I know that together we can do it. High jump onto this ledge and run across the wall. We can then high jump onto these rocks and just hover boot across. We can then high jump onto the mountain sides to the top here, line up and charge boot toward the building. We can then walk along this slanted wall and walk straight through these rocks. Walk up to the top, line up something that looks a little bit like this, and charge boot into the void. Try to land on the teleporter. We have now just skipped half of this level and the final Hypnomatic section. I wish I could tell you that it gets easier, but it really does not. We need to run past almost every enemy while also not taking damage. We will need almost every piece of ammo against these 2 tank enemies near the end of the level to spawn a swing shot target. So long as we can open this lock, it will remain open even if you die. Every time we die, our current ammo count is saved, so we will need to grind ammo boxes near the beginning of this level every time we die to get max ammo again. We can luckily hit both of these enemies with the gravity bomb as well. We reach the door where the master plot is revealed. Captain Quark is going to destroy the galaxy so he can save it. Oddly intelligent coming from him. Unfortunately, it doesn't go too well, and we need to bail him out. This boss fight is insanely difficult, not so much because of the boss, but more so due to the enemies constantly firing at us. The strategy I used was waiting the protopet out and running into him to do wrench attacks while he is left open, as most of his attacks can't actually hit us when we're this close to him. But the soldiers in phase 2 try to get the protopet to run them over, saving a bit of ammo and a headache. It's phase 3 where things get more difficult. The tanks are completely out of range of the protopet, so we're going to have to dodge them. Just keep paying attention as Ratchet dies in 2 hits here. With the protopet defeated, Captain Quark is saved, and the Ratchet and Clank 2 Vendor's Challenge is complete.
Hey, who's there?
Meow.
Wait a minute.
As always, a huge shout out to all YouTube members. I appreciate every single one of you. An even bigger shout out to all first class soldier members, including Friendly Neighborhood Lurker, Kupo Corner, Multi-Brad X, _ XX Pitters 98 XX _, and of course, thank you for watching the full video.